Okay. Honorable Tejan and Honorable Nash.
I arrived late, Chair, and I think that is why I don't have a mic. I think it must be corrected. We know how many people are coming here. Whether I arrived late here or I arrived at what time, I must have my own mic. I don't want to share with the Honorable Motis for obvious reasons. So, Chair, there's quite a lot of issues that I picked up from the conversations that everyone else is having. I want to suggest, Chair, on the scarce skills first. I don't know when was this list of the scarce skills presented to us, and I don't know when it was ever reviewed. I want to suggest that we get given that list, because you can't have a list that we received in 1994 being the same list that we're operating with. We just need to be very careful of having a list that does not change, because a lot has changed. So if you are talking scarce skills, you might find that we have covered a lot of ground. We are no longer in need of those scarce skills that is being mentioned here today. So I want to suggest that as a committee, officially we are getting that list, we review that list. We look at what is scarce skills, because it's our responsibility as the committee, I think, to be able to review things that we see that are abnormal, if I want to, were to put it like that. I was in Goodwood prison to visit a friend of mine who is in prison. Everyone who is in prison, by the way, says that I have not committed a crime. So I went to Goodwood to see a friend. He still says that I have not done anything. I was introduced to a male prisoner, a foreign national, who had committed a crime somewhere in Khayelitsha, but he finds himself in Goodwood prison. He says, I have not been to court, and it's many of us who are here, and the main reason is that they can't trace who I am. That's what he says. He says they can't trace who I am. I asked him, do you know who you are? He says, I know, but how did you arrive here if the country doesn't know? So, and I asked myself, okay, if that's the situation, we have a lot of foreign nationals in our prisons who are feeding off our system, who have not been found guilty of anything, who have not been tried. And our role as Home Affairs in that respect is nowhere to be seen, because we are the authority in terms of those things of fingerprints and all of that, and who enters and who goes out. It's worrying, Minister, that we have such problems. The right people must be in prison for the right reasons. But if you find people sitting there just eating the whole day, nothing is happening to them, it gets to worry all of us, and it should worry all South Africans. So we need to really attend to those problems. I said in the last committee, physically, that I attended, Chair will remember, I said largely the problems of Home Affairs are created by lack of standards. I mentioned that the office Mthatha and the office Manling do not have the same standards. Of course, because the other one is in a mall, the other one is just somewhere, in a Shebeen somewhere, because that office is a Shebeen. So, how are we able to assess our work as Home Affairs if we have different standards for different towns or different offices? I even suggested, Chair, that when we go and do site visits, we must not tell Home Affairs where we want to go, or they must not tell us where we must go. We must say, as Home Affairs Portfolio Committee, that we want to visit this area. ourselves so that we're not taken to a direction that looks better. We want to see where it doesn't look better. So we're looking for the same standards from Home Affairs. What I find in Palabur should not be different from what I find in Aitujo. I once told the DG here, you'll remember, we're dealing with the issues of long queues. You came here and reported that there are no long queues in East London. I demonstrated to him with a picture. And I said the problem with Home Affairs is that all your presentations are very good. But on the ground, it's a different arrangement. So I'm saying, Minister, it's the first time I'm speaking in your presence. I want you to be able to understand that there has been issues that we have been raising, which we think should be attended with immediate effect by your team. So, in basic education today, scarce skills in South Africa is math and science. If that is not on the list, you must know we have a big problem. Members that sit in the portfolio committee on education, basic education, they'll tell you, schools do not have math and science teachers. We have to go and get outside. And most of those that we have found in Free State, they are coming from Ghana. Some of them were deployed or they worked in the Eastern Cape. The conditions were not favorable. They moved to the Free State. So the scarce skills we're talking about must consider things like what I'm saying, Chairperson. Math and science is a big problem. And we're not going anywhere as a country without producing those with math and science. This thing of border management is our implementing agency. As a department and as a committee, we established it, Chair. I don't know if we have made an assessment. I mean, we can't run something for the past year now and we have not made an assessment in terms of its work. I don't know, like, I saw a BMA car between Butterworth and East London with a blue light doing those things. I was like, did we ever approve BMA to be police? Is there something that we're missing? The Deputy Minister.
Okay, noted. I think we'll deal with that. I see it's arising also from Honorable Tejan. Honorable Mufan.
Sorry, Chair. Move to the department. There's just one issue that I just wanted to also raise on the issue of citizenship, immigration, and refugee protection. We have a number of people in South Africa who are South African citizens, who are born of a South African mother, a South African father, but they don't have documentation to prove that they are South African citizens. They don't have documentation to prove that because of the 4,700 DNA tests that they need to pay for. I've received very heartbreaking cases, Honorable Chair, of young girls, young boys whose life has come to a standstill because they can't get documentation to prove that they are South African citizens. So I want to know on these presentations that we have received, how are we going to resolve those issues, particularly for the poor of the poorest? You can't expect a person who's unemployed, who's poor, to be able to pop out 4,700 rand for a DNA test. It's not possible. So what alternative path is available for these particular individuals. I've about close to 10 cases, Honorable Chairperson, which I will bring to the attention of the Home Affairs team here. So how are we going to address those issues? Thank you, Chair.
No, thanks, honourable members. I think you have dealt with most of the issues that we will request the department to respond and comment. And in this last matter, I'm sure DDG Sigama is preparing for that. There are three issues which we need to appreciate in relation to the porous borders. The fifth administration initiated a process on the basis of input from the public in relation to the porous borders. And we did create a legislation that introduced the Border Management Authority. And from that period to date, there's significant work that has been done. And I think as members of Parliament, we ought to appreciate significant move on certain areas, but acknowledge its weaknesses, which ourselves, in fact, in the two budget votes debate, we've also highlighted in terms of the significant funding from BMA to carry some of the responsibility. So I thought I might just take a reminder so that we don't ground this meeting on the matter that ourselves as Parliament, we've acknowledged from members of the public, introduced a legislation that established the BMA, the other weaknesses which yourself have raised here. So the matter is how we align the white paper in relation with the current challenges that we're dealing with. And I'm quite sure that when they were going to receive the annual performance of the Border Management Authority, some of these issues will arise and able to contribute and understand some of the weaknesses and progress that we've been made. And it's us, members of Parliament, that will listen to members of the public around this challenge to the Border Management Authority and took a decision to establish this entity. So I thought I must make that point to the member. Two issues, Minister, which are political. I think we don't need to play with words. You must say to the committee, you are referring to the GNU intent statement that creates obstacle for us to move faster, to develop a bill for us to be able to interact with members of the public. And in my earlier statement, I've cautioned that we'll listen carefully in terms of the responses we've given in the security cluster responses in terms of the period in which this bill must come to Parliament and be dealt with. When you listen carefully to the presentation of Vurindlele, it appears that most of the priorities that Vurindlele refer in relation to the Home Affairs are in progress, are incomplete, and you may need to identify what is the obstacle that deter the department to conclude this process and to bring the bill to the Parliament in terms of the time frames that we need to deal with. Because GNU does not have a policy. It is a statement of intent, and this matter has been raised. We're running this white paper from the the legacy report. So you must be able to say to these members of the committee, these are the critical obstacles that will delay us to make sure that we facilitate the bill that must come to Parliament. And I think that is we might just try to elevate this area so that there must not be confusion on how the executive and Parliament process its work from the 6th and the 5th administration. So there must be clear areas. Why are you saying this matter will come later in 2027 and whereas we've been dealing with this matter a year. And the understanding is that if the supplementary issue that must arise from the voluntary report may still go through the process of the executive that you have outlined. Why are you saying that you must get a legal opinion on this white paper? Because our understanding is that the president, when he outlined his priorities in the two SONAs, the reforms, he appreciated that as a process of cabinet, where cabinet has approved all the inputs that must be dealt with. And there was an extensive consultation on this white paper process. So you need to articulate clearly to members. Of course, in relation to the national NDP, the last point is on the tax matters that have been raised here. What are those issues that you are raising? Members are raising this issue so that at the time the bill is being tabled in Parliament, we're able to solidify views and also as we enter to the public consultation with the public around the bill, there's clarity on what are the issues and how must consult, because at the end is Parliament that's going to consider this bill. So because of our main issues that have been raised, we'll start with the Director General. We'll allocate who are going to respond on the issues. Then invite the Deputy Minister, and the Minister will close. If there's a follow-up, we'll entertain that, but minding that we're going for sitting now at 2 o'clock. I'll just use my discretion as I will take follow-ups. But obviously, you still have to interact with this matter because you have to come back to the committee, including the matters that are related to the Border Management Authority in relation to the white paper. DJ?
If you found this video informative, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content like this. And as always, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.